Good morning, everyone. Sorry that I'm out today. I'm visiting a nearby school district and I'll be back at 3 p.m. for my faculty meeting, so I expect to see a wonderful report. Please turn in homework day 2 to the sub and pay close attention to this video because I will be collecting and grading your packet tomorrow. Have a great day. If you haven't done so already, I want you to take a couple minutes on your own to complete the warm-up. Okay, it's really just a brainstorm. Take a minute, and then when the class has had an opportunity to try this on your own, go ahead and unpause the video and we'll go over it together. Okay, so you've been learning parts and wholes since the first day you learned fractions. Okay, fractions really just a part of a whole. So hopefully you were able to identify each piece in these scenarios. The first one says Mrs. Steeler has 23 desks in her classroom and 16 are used by students in her third period class. Okay, the part should be 16 because the whole or the total is 23. For number 2, it takes 12 hours to drive from New York to North Carolina. On the road trip with her friend, Sally drove 4 of the 12 hours. Okay, well, 4 is part of the whole trip that took 12 hours. And the third one, 60 students took the final exam and 52 of them passed. Okay, 52 is part of the whole class. Okay, it's just one piece of all of the total. Go ahead and jot down any questions you have for me and then flip to the next page. Today we're going to learn about percent proportion, and when you learned it last year, you did is over of equals percent over 100. And we will use that formula, but we're going to start with something different today. First, we have to review some of our vocabulary. Remember that a percentage is a number or ratio as a fraction of 100, often denoted by that sign. A proportion is when you have two fractions or two ratios set equal to each other. And then if you put the two things together, a percent proportion is a proportion in which one fraction compares part of a quantity to the whole quantity, and the other equivalent percent is written as a fraction out of 100. Okay, and that's what we have right here, a percent proportion. Okay, it's a proportion, two fractions that equal, where we have percents involved. Okay, and this is the one that I really want you to memorize. We're going to be using this for the entire unit. Part over whole equals percent out of 100. Okay, and when we're using this, there's a couple of steps we need to follow. The first thing you should always do is identify which pieces of the percent proportion are given. Okay, they're always going to give you, you're always going to have 3 of the pieces and one of them is going to be your unknown. Okay, so you're going to substitute in the given pieces, and then we can cross multiply and solve for x. Okay, solve for the unknown variable. Once you're ready to start, go ahead and flip the page. There's 3 types of questions that I want to look at today that involve percent proportion. Okay, so here's our first example. Type 1, finding percent. It says Eric earned 60 points on his last test. If there were 75 possible points, what was his percent grade? Okay, I do this all the time when I calculate your tests. Okay, the part is the 60 and the whole is 75 because the whole test was worth 75 points and he only got part of it correct. And they're asking you to find percent. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. So when we set up our proportion, okay, we have part over whole equals percent over 100. And that 100 is always going to be there because percents are always out of 100. Okay, next we're going to substitute in what's given. 60 is the part, 75 is the whole. X will represent the percent we're trying to find out of 100. And our next step is to cross multiply. Okay, so we have 75 times x set equal to 60 times 100. Draw your river and get ready to solve. Okay, 75 times x is 75x equals 60 times 100 is 6,000. In order to get x by itself, we need to divide both sides by 75. X equals 80. So now we know he got an 80% on his test. Feel free to pause, rewind, rewatch, and then when everybody's ready, we can look at the second type. Okay, question 2 says, last night the Knicks made 12 free throws. If their free throw percentage is 75%, how many free throws were attempted? Okay, so the attempted is the whole, and they didn't give us that. They gave us the part. Okay, they made some of their total attempts, and that 12 represents them making 75%. Okay, so in this one, we're trying to find the whole. We have the part, and we have the percent. So we have part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay, 12 is the part. X will represent the whole that we're trying to find. This is 75% out of 100. Okay, so 12 represents making 75 shots. We want to know what would represent making 100%. So we cross multiply. 75 times x is 75x. Set it equal to 12 times 100 is 1,200. Draw your river and divide both sides by 75. And x should equal 16. So now we know they attempted 16 free throws, and they made 12 out of 16. When you're ready, scroll down and we'll do example 3. Okay, this says a survey of 1,000 people was done by New York Times. 80% of the people did not know the name of their representative in Congress. How many of the 1,000 people knew the name of congressman? Okay, so this one actually has an added twist. Okay, if 80% don't know, and we're trying to find how many do, then we have to think to ourselves 100% minus 80% means that 20% do know. Okay, so it's actually the 20% that we want to work with. And our total, or our whole, was 1,000 people surveyed. And we want to know the part of that total that did know. Okay, that piece. We're solving for part. So here we go. Part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay, so we have x over 1,000 equals 20 over 100. And we cross multiply. So we have 100 times x is 100x. And 20 times 1,000 is 20,000. Draw your river, divide by 100. And what's nice about this is these zeros cancel, and we get that x equals 200. Okay, so out of 1,000 people, 200 people knew their representative. Okay, so that's part out of the whole number of people. When you're all set, flip the page. So on this page, there's 3 examples for you to try. And what I want you to do is, when I'm done, pause the video, try these 3 on your own or with the people you're sitting next to, and then in, I don't know, maybe 6 or so minutes, I want everyone to come back and unpause the video and we'll go over them together. Okay, so go ahead and pause and come back when you're ready. Okay, I'm glad everyone had a chance to try these on their own. Let's go over them. It says Roman had 2 red pencils in his backpack. If this is 25% of the total, how many pencils are in his backpack? Okay, so he has 2, and this is 25% of the total, which means we don't have the total. We don't have the whole. So part over whole equals percent over 100. 2 over x equals 25% out of 100. Cross multiply, we get 25x equals 200. Draw the river, divide by 25. X equals 8 pencils total. Go ahead, check and correct your work, and then we'll go over number 2. Eileen and Michelle scored 48% of their team's points. If their team had a total of 50 points, how many did they score? Okay, so the total is always the whole, and we don't have the part. We do have the percent, however. So when we do part over whole equals percent over 100, we don't have the part. The whole was a total of 50 points. What they scored was 48% of 100. Go ahead and cross multiply. We have 100x equals 2,400. 2,400 divide by 100. And x equals 24. Okay, so together, Eileen and Michelle scored 24 of the 50 points. Check and correct your work. And then we'll do number 3. Of 273 students in a school, 95 volunteered to work the book sale. What percent of students volunteered? Okay, so 273 is the total, or the whole, and 95 is the part of the students that actually volunteered, and we want to find percent. So part over whole equals percent over 100. 95 over 273 equals x over 100. Cross multiply, we have 273x equals 9,500. Divide by 273. And I did end up rounding this one because you should have got 34.7985 ... Okay, so we could say that this is about 35% volunteered. And I don't really need a complete sentence, but it would be nice if you could connect the answer back to the word problem. Okay? Now what you have for the rest of the packet is some more examples. Okay, and you'll notice at the top of the packet it's labeled Notes/Homework Day 3. That means you have the rest of class to work on this, and whatever you don't finish is homework. Okay? And I'll be collecting it and grading it tomorrow. So it's in your best interest to use your notes. And if you want to work with one other person and work cooperatively together, I'm okay with that. Enjoy the rest of your day.